is there's so many better ways to monetize. Because back then it was like YouTube, got to get it monetized. That's one thing that I'm really glad that all of the media outlets gave all of the creators a way that they can actually live off of this. Because, I mean, brand deals are amazing, but like it's not guaranteed money consistently.
Welcome back, my $1 billion baby. On today's episode, we're going to dig into internet money and how to make it as a creator in 2024. There's so many cool new ways that creators are growing on the internet and monetizing, so we're going to dig into it here with Carrington Durham.
All right.
So you've been an influencer for a long time, so I feel like you're a good person to have a conversation with about this.
I've been in the social media game for a very long time, since I was like 14 years old. Which is like my birthday, September 26th, will be like officially 14 years out in LA.
Oh, wow.
Which is crazy because I still feel like Nashville's like home, but I've been in LA more than I've been in Nashville, which is crazy. But yeah, so OG.
Yeah. What do you feel like has changed the most now from like growing a following and being a content creator prior? Like, what do you think are the biggest changes you've seen over the years?
Oh my gosh. I feel like it's night and day almost. I feel like back then there were a lot of groups, a lot of like big beauty gurus and stuff like that, which I personally loved. Like I loved like the beauty cons and like the playlists and like when VidCon was still cool. Sorry, VidCon, still invite me.
That's hilarious.
And like that, like people were so like excited and like I felt like, I don't know, growing up in it, it felt like a high school almost, like being around just everyone who, I don't know, everything was a lot more like Tumblr was super big back then too. So I felt like that had a big impression on people's like stuff. Like I don't know if y'all remember like the Arizona iced teas and like that era. Lived for that era. I want to be a Tumblr girl again so bad.
You're so right though. Like the things I used to see back then, it was like such a smaller group of people that were influencers, so it felt so exciting to like be a part of that. And I remember seeing people on the internet going to these things. And yeah, it felt like really, really, really cool.
Yeah.
But everyone was so excited because it was like a new generation. It's like people didn't really know what to think of it. They just knew it was fun.
Yeah.
Also, because there was less influencers at that time, I think the influencers had like real fans. They had so many fans because there was less people to look at, right?
Now people like have so many people that like there's so many influencers that like people are a fan of like a certain subject of like what people do in that subject. I'm sure people, you know, obviously still have like hardcore fans, like the bigger people and stuff, but there's definitely just a lot more social media people.
Yeah. No. It's like now if you don't have a presence on social media, like you can't really start a business. You like can't really do much. You have to like be on social media in every aspect of your life pretty much.
And that's one thing too. Like I know a lot of people who have, you know, businesses and stuff, and they might be like more of an older generation and they don't know like the first thing about social media. So then they'll have like even people I know like run their social media accounts and all of that stuff because they're like, I don't want a piece of that. You do that and I'll pay you.
Yeah.
So.
Like I don't even want to do it.
Yeah, literally.
Okay, so you obviously are an influencer yourself. You have so many friends that are also influencers. What do you see as the main way creators are monetizing now?
I feel like one thing that I do really appreciate about social media now versus like 2015, 2016 is there's so many better ways to monetize than just like YouTube. Because back then it was like YouTube, got to get it monetized. But now it's like you have, you have Snapchat, you have, you know, TikTok is monetizable. Can I speak? Sorry. And, you know, there's so many ways that you can make money, like Instagram Shop. Like that's one thing that I'm really glad that all of the media outlets gave all of the creators a way that they can actually live off of this. Because, I mean, brand deals are amazing, but, like, it's not guaranteed money consistently,
Exactly.
so.
I think that's what I hear a lot is like influencers, there's still influencers that are like, I want brand deals so badly. I'm like, okay, but like brand deals for anyone listening are, like you said, they're not consistent. And then people are actually, it's like far and few between that are actually making really crazy money off of brand deals.
Yeah.
It's like a certain type of influencer that's very niche to like makeup, and then makeup brands easily see themselves fitting into your content. It's like you kind of have to make your whole, like brands are getting smarter on what ways convert. And then also not only are they getting smarter, it's because it's harder to convert. Yeah. So now they have to like really work with very niched creators that are like pumping out makeup content consistently, and their whole page is very makeup oriented. So that's why a makeup brand wants to work with them.
Yeah.
And then other influencers that are like, oh, I post, my life and clothing, and I like this. I don't want to feel like I'm in a box. And then I'm like, and then they're like, but I want that makeup brand deal. It's like, well, the makeup brand really wants those creators.
Exactly. And that's another thing when it comes to there being so many creators on like, 1 million makeup people, 1 million fashion people. It's like, it's hard, and brands have to dilute their money in order to get more across. Like back then it was like, okay, we know that this is our top makeup girl, we know this is our top fashion girl, and we're gonna give them the bag.
Yeah.
But now it's like, ooh, that's a little diluted, and it still works really well, but not like how it used to. And I think also you might do that brand deal, but then you have like 30 to 90 days depending on the brand until you actually get that check. So if you don't have like another one, it's like, all right, so now what?
Yeah, people
Rent.
don't. People don't realize how long brands take to pay you out. So walk people through that are listening.
Yeah, there might be some ramen noodle months, It's like, for people who are looking to get into social media and like get brand deals and stuff like that, I feel like there's a lot of ways you can go about it. Obviously, when you are a smaller creator, it's very important to reach out to brands that you feel like fit your niche and the content that you're putting out there. Make like a where's the word I'm trying to find? Make like a board with like all your analytics and like, your pictures and like basically like a resume proposal type of thing. And just email and DM a bunch of the different brands that you're wanting to work with. And you get a brand deal, and there's so many different brand deals. Like there's even TikTok sounds. People will pay you to do a TikTok sound, which can be super chill, organic. There's like, I don't know, there's a million different things.
I know. It's like, okay, so you find the brand deal. Not only are you most of the time, I'm going to say majority of the time, because I see it with so many talent. So you're trying to get the brand deal. It comes in, even if it comes into you, they say the rate, not all the time is the rate something you would even do, because sometimes I think brands, because the market's so saturated, a lot of brands like undervalue a lot of times. Initially, they'll send like a bullshit rate for something that you actually have a huge audience
let's just
for.
See if they'll take it. Let's see how dumb they are.
Yeah, like there's some brands that are like known for like kind of fucking talent.
Yeah,
like we all know which ones they are.
I'm talking to you.
Yeah, I know. That's what I was thinking. And people
still work for you. Kidding. I mean, not.
And people don't realize that. They're like, oh, these influencers are making so much money. It's so easy to just take a post. But they don't realize like some of the money that they're paying for the amount of work it is not always actually like in value or at your level of the effort you're putting in to grow your social media.
Yeah, not worth it.
Yeah. So people don't realize that. So then you get a brand deal, then you have to negotiate your value, get your value set. If they then approve it, which not all the time they do, and sometimes that could take days and days of going back and forth trying to get them to see your value to then find out if they're going to say yes or no. And then if they say yes, then you go into the contract, then you have to have a lawyer look at the contract, make sure the contract's okay, make sure that they're not like owning your likeness and certain things, or they're not going to take royalties of your content and like own it for life. Like there's a lot of things in the contract you want to make sure of. And then from there, once you sign, then you need to go into creating the content and making sure that it's aligned with your image and brand and what your fans are actually going to want, so that you get good engagement, so that the brand wants to work with you again. So then it's like a creative.
And you don't have like a million commercial like talking points where it's just like, okay, this doesn't sound like me at all.
Yeah, those ones are the worst.
Yeah.
If they send you a bunch of deliverables like, hey, we need you to say this,
Here's the script.
this. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you're like, this sounds stupid. This is not going to do good on my page. But okay, they might be paying somewhat good now. So then you try your best to make the brand deal not look cheesy and feel authentic, so that your fans actually engage. And then the biggest stressor is, you want to, in a perfect world, if you really want to build brand deals as a revenue stream, is you want it to do well for the brand. So then you try to make it as great as possible, but you can't actually ever know how it's going to reflect on your fans. And then you post, and then you send it back, and then or actually before you post, you have to send it back a lot of times, get their approval. And then once they say yes or no, or actually I want you to change this, and you have to go back into creating it again, then you send it back, and then they're like, okay, you could post on this date, then you post. You can't conflict with any other brand deals. Then you post, then you go, okay, I've posted, and then you wait anywhere from 30 to 60 days to even get paid.
Yep.
So it's a process.
It is a process.
You're like, so it needs to be a lot of money. And then also, aren't like social media accounts like Instagram and TikTok and stuff like that, whenever you promote certain brands, doesn't it hurt your views as well? Like for that post?
It can, definitely.
Yeah.
I feel like as bad as it sounds, most brand endorsed content just doesn't do as well as something you would just post organically. I think that there's a lot of ways to implement it naturally where, it's good, but even then it's still 90% of the time doesn't perform as well.
It's so true.
Yeah.
That's another piece for people that are listening, is like when you tag a brand and you have to say it's an ad or whatever, a lot of the fans don't engage as much, and then the views and engagement is a lot lower because it's a brand deal.
So it makes it harder to get that brand deal again.
Yeah.
Right, because obviously you would want to like rework with the company if the coin is coining, but sometimes it doesn't be like it.
Yeah. So then there's all these, like, that was the initial way. It's like YouTube came out. That's how you monetize. Then a lot of people are going into brand deals. And now it's became like the era of monetizing your own direct fan base without needing a brand directly to pick you. So for an example, like you said, like TikTok Shop, for an example, people are making a ton of money on TikTok Shop. You have to like partner with a brand. You have to ask to sell the brand. The brand has to accept you on the other side. And then you make content promoting the product, and then you get a piece of every sale. And there's some people that are crushing it at this.
Yeah.
And they go after brands that they see have like tons of sales. So I saw some that are like there's like a suntan lotion or sunblock. And this kid's like, have you heard that your sunblock is bad for you or whatever? And then he's like,
it's always the catchy beginning line.
Yeah, and it's like, well, this sunblock is the only one, blah, blah, blah. And then it's like, but when you're picking a product, you want to go see like which one has very high sales. Are they selling well? And then create your own content around it, and then you get a piece of that. And then also I've seen a lot of creators making a lot on Amazon storefront.
I was just about to bring that up too. So many people are doing the Amazon storefront stuff. I'm not even a part of that yet, and I really want to get onto that because I feel like they're also doing a new thing. Have you heard of like the Amazon Lives?
No, not yet. But they're really trying to go after TikTok then.
Seems that way. Yeah. But basically, it's what they do on TikTok Shop. They get a bunch, like everybody has so many Amazon things. I mean, speaking for myself specifically, but a lot of people love Amazon and it's super easy. So you literally go live and you can have like 15 to 20 different products, like from Amazon or whatever, just like household stuff, whatever. And literally anything that gets sold from that live of any of the items that you showed from Amazon, you also get a commission off of.
Yeah, that's
which
cool.
is cool. So
yeah, I think it's kind of like, it's like taking, for people that don't fully understand it yet, it's like taking the concept of those like live TV shows where they were like the older women.
QVC.
Like, QVC. I don't know the names. And they're like, here's a piece of jewelry. It would look great with your outfit tonight on whatever. And they're like, buy it now. Call in on this number. But it's
like, how did my HGTV turn into this?
Yeah. And it's like been working for years, but like now it's just coming. But it makes so much sense because the influencers can sell the products. Like people want to brands want to put a familiar face with their product, because influencers, I always tell brands that they're like, well, I want this influencer to sell 1 million like units. I'm like, they're not gonna, just because they have millions of followers does not mean they're gonna convert that many units.
Right.
I'm like, what you're buying when you work with an influencer is building credibility around your product. I would, if I go to the store and I decide I want iced tea, I'm much more likely to pick the iced tea that I saw people I look up to posting than the random iced tea on the shelf next to it.
Exactly.
Like, it's just building credibility. But a lot of brands haven't known that, or people are new to understanding that. So anyone that wants to pitch themselves, you have to say, well, my face next to your product is worth something.
Right.
Period.
Period. Know this.
Yeah.
Be aware.
What about the micro creators and even just influencers on TikTok that are doing the TikTok shop? Are they making these pieces of content on speculation that they can then present it to the companies and say, like, accept like this post as a like
no
shop
so
post?
Initially I've been looking into it, and I've been talking
that beforehand.
Well, so I've been talking to TikTok a lot about it because it's been so interesting to me. Well, one of the things that made me excited about it, so everyone can hear, is like someone sold me on it because they were like, the older generation, I don't want to call us old, but they're addicted to buying things on Amazon. Like, that's where you go, and you probably have 1 million things you bought from Amazon. He's like, the younger Gen Z audience, they're buying things on TikTok. And I'm like, what do you mean? They're like, because you can input your Apple credit card and you can just tap, buy. So it's like you're watching your favorite influencer saying, this is the blush I'm using tonight. I'm like, get ready with me video. And then it's like attached below, and you could buy it right there. Tap, buy from your favorite influencer. And so then it ships to you very similar to like Amazon. But what the influencer has to do before they post the video is they have to find the products they like and that they want to work with, and then they have to submit themselves to the product. The product has to accept you as an ambassador, basically.
Yeah.
And then once you get approved, then you get a piece of the sales, and now you're allowed to create content with the product.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I mean, it's a whole other...
It's so easy. Like, for me, I've never bought anything on TikTok Shop, if I'm
Yeah,
being
me either.
honest.
I haven't either.
Like, all of like my sisters, like whenever I went back home, like my sister's friends, like they were like, oh my gosh, like my cart of TikTok Shop is so full. Like, oh my gosh, like I just really want to get this. And I'm like, whoa, like that's crazy, because like I've never even like, I mean, I could never lie. Like, whenever I see earns a commission, I'm like, do I trust this? I don't know, because I'm like, some stuff that I do see, like, are, sorry, another fuzz, are really good products, but, you know, it's like, I don't know. Yeah, like you said, just like I feel like more of the millennials and all that stuff, like Amazon, and Gen Z, like TikTok Shop.
Yeah, it's like funny because we always find out about trends when I hang out with my little sisters. Mm-hmm. So when I'm like with them, I'm like, what are you guys doing? What are you up to? And so when I was hearing about them being like with their friends, and they're like, yeah, did you ask him for his Snapchat? And then I was like, do you guys ever like text? Or like, no, we just snap. And I'm like, okay. So she said that at school, they don't ask for each other's numbers. They only ask for your Snap. And then what blew my mind the other day is we were with our little sisters for my dad's birthday. And she was saying like, oh yeah, one of my friends in Louisiana. We're like, why do you have a friend in Louisiana? Like, she's freaking 12.
You're like, we have a Snapchat streak. What do you mean? Like,
yeah, she's like, he's one of my best friends, and they like met just on Snapchat. So like, you begin to have friends like around the world. They probably have more friends than I do around the world.
Like that. Like, I feel like
wild.
gamer friends are like that.
Yeah,
it's
they're
so
like,
funny.
Joe 9876. I love you, Joe 9876.
That's where the future is going.
Yeah,
no one's
where's
going to
the
meet in
world
person
going?
anymore. Everybody's going to have like their online presence, and that's how people are going to hang out.
Oh, I hate
It's
that.
creepy.
I hate that.
I know.
Our aura is down 10%. Not mewing? I don't know all.
Oh my god.
Oh, yeah,
All the
what's mewing?
The Gen Z phrases is too much. Those
I
memes.
know.
What's mewing again? Putting your tongue above your...
No, mewing is like
learned
when
that
you're
from my
like,
little
like
sister.
looking hot.
Like
type
you
of
suck
thing.
in your cheeks, like you're like.
Yeah.
To me, I'm like, it's just giving like 2017 Justin Bieber.
It's
with like the pray hands, you know? I don't know. But
And they
the
go like
other
this
one?
to their chin.
Yeah, they're like
that's like the dudes
Oh
that
my
are mewing.
mewing.
It's
They
like,
show their
it's like
jawbone.
jawline, yeah.
Jawline.
You're like 0 1,000 aura or whatever, and I'm like, like you're just not a good person. I don't know, like would never say that. But listen, we respect your creativity. We do.
What would you say are the biggest complaints you hear from influencers about their career now, like today?
I mean, one of the main things is just the amount of influencers that there are, especially because like I feel like there's so many new people, new platforms. I feel like a lot of like the original people that, you know, I kind of grew up with in social media. Some are still extremely poppin', but a lot of them, you know, have completely different lives. Or back then, you know, they really, really were doing really well and made so much money and all of that and weren't smart with it and all of that. Now they're doing just normal 9-to-5 jobs, or they're working, you know, differently, or they didn't invest correctly. And like, you know what I mean? Like back then it was like, oh, like this will be here forever. There is no shelf life to this ever. Like, you know, but I think like that's one of the main things that I feel like people, if you aren't, it's a lot more fast paced than it was back then. So if you're not immediately going over to like the next trend and hopping on the bandwagon with everyone else, like you will probably be left behind, you know?
And
I
it
feel like
sucks because you get burnt out, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
I feel
Super
like
burnout.
the worst is when it's all of a sudden you have to change to a new platform. You're like, cool, let me start from zero again. Just move everybody there. Because even now, TikTok, they're saying it's not as good for a lot of people. Because like a lot of people are getting weirdly shadow banned right now. I'm like, Jesus.
Really?
I'm like,
Dang, yeah. Threads. I want to go back to Threads.
like, what even-
That was poppin'. That was a fun week.
Yeah, for a week.
what even I was like, is anybody using
Where my
it?
B-reelers at? No, but like everyone hops on all these new platforms and it's like, is it going to stick? Is it going to like, because
Do I need a post here too?
exactly, because a lot of people are like, oh, if I really go hard, like right now, maybe I'll be like the top person on this platform. I mean, that's like how Charli D'Amelio and like those girls like were like the top people on TikTok because they like got in there when it was like
The beginning.
Yeah, especially COVID, I think really changed the social media game completely because nobody was able to work and everyone was like, all right, I'm going to get on my
internet.
Exactly. And I'm
Either
going to try
watch
this
or create.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I think that's where a lot of stuff really changed too.
Yeah, that's interesting. I hear that too. I think influencers are getting a little bit more like fatigued. They're like burnt out. They're kind of like, okay, here we go again. And I don't think people realize that are watching influencers when they feel like it's easy about how much creative mental has to go into constantly keeping up with social media.
Yeah.
It's so much work.
Making sure that you're always evolving too. Like, because
think-
you can't just do the same thing over and over again after a while.
I think the perfect case in point is going to be once we find out what happens with this girl, Haley Welsh, for the whole Hawk Tuah girl. She's like
Yes.
starting
Oh,
her
yes.
career, her 15 minutes of fame, and it's like, let's time when she's going to have the social media burnout and she's going to fall off and everyone's going to be like, what happened to Hawk Tuah girl?
That's true. And she's like really coasting up right now.
She's literally like a
like-
case study for our
It's just
generation.
interesting how many people are trying to put her on. I kind of saw that with the Bobby girl, the podcast girl.
Yes.
I forget her name. Bobby, whatever her name is. I'm so bad at people's names. But I saw it with her. It's like everyone was like, you know, wanting to be a part of what she was doing like overnight. And then now it's like with her that's happening, the Haley girl. But I'm curious if that will be a thing or not. It's interesting.
Yeah, no, I'm super interested because I mean she's from Tennessee too, and literally she just had like that one little interview moment, and like it's crazy how like something can become such a real life meme so quickly, which I guess that's always stayed the same. But literally,
Yeah,
like
that's true.
she's like, I'm going to LA and it's time to be a superstar, and I'm like, yes, as you should, queen, because like. Listen, if she executes it right,
Yeah.
she could be the next, like, you know, big thing, you know?
Yeah.
Good for her. Hawk Tuah. Yeah, yes, ma'am. As you should.
I was just thinking right now, like as I was saying, like sometimes it's so complicating, and then I was like, there's the talent that is like it's so complicating, and then you sometimes see someone blow up like crazy that is doing the most basic thing that you're like, what?
Why is this working?
That's why I think another like random thing, I used to overthink my social media stuff so much. Like I think it took me like 3 months of overthinking till I posted my first YouTube video, because I'm like, this isn't good enough. Like, I don't know. I was just such a perfectionist. And then I realized like these people are posting this stuff because they're just trying to get stuff out there. And once I finally got past like that mental block and just like got started, that's what like really helped. So if anyone is trying to get into like the social media game, like try not to be a perfectionist, as hard as that might be, because being a perfectionist is kind of like your worst enemy in a way.
That's
I feel
so
like.
true.
Yeah, it can hold you back
Yeah.
for sure.
And like some people just want to watch the stupidest shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. They just want to escape from their life right now.
There's one guy that's blowing up right now that I'm like, why has no one thought about this? It's so good. And I think you both showed me him. What's his name?
Him.
You already know who I'm talking about. We read
guy
each
with
other's
the beard.
minds. Yeah, we read each other's
Wait,
minds.
who?
I'm gonna show you him. Hold on.
I'm addicted to like the lawnmower like videos where it's
Oh,
like,
those are so
and
satisfying.
Those are literally they're lawnmower influencer people who are like they're sponsored by John Deere and they're like it's like a whole different crazy world of influencing.
This
Literally.
guy to me is just blowing up out of nowhere, and it's just such a good concept. I'm so surprised no one's ever thought about this before. But he just like brags about
Pretending
funny
like he's,
shit.
like, famous.
Like he pretends like he's so famous that it's like embarrassing. So he'll be like acting like he's dating Sydney Sweeney and like be like this.
To make this video, but things have just been pretty hectic, so I feel I should address it. Are they really over? Zach doesn't post Sydney Sweeney for National Girlfriend Day. The reason I didn't post her is because me and her aren't talking anymore. Look, I wish that girl the best. Like, we had some great memories and shit. Mainly probably her. And I
good
truly
memories
do
and
not
shit.
imagine
Probably
the
her.
pain of losing me. Like, that's something I wouldn't wish on any of my
He just does
worst
that, and then he's acted like Sky Breeze, like one of his fans.
It's crazy that I can't take a picture with a fan without people jumping to assumptions. And it turns out like it's some person that people know of. So yeah, from my perspective, I just took a picture with a fan who was like begging me for a picture because she was like my biggest fan, she said, and also she said she like wanted me and shit. But like, anyways, like I don't think you guys.
And then this one, sorry, 3. This one's
Oh my gosh, the most embarrassing thing happened to me the other day. So I accidentally posted on my story my total spending from the day prior. I was like, oh my gosh, this cannot be happening to me right now. And then so I posted next. I was like, bro, oh my God, I didn't even mean to post that last story. That's literally so embarrassing. What the fuck? And it won't delete. Like, it wouldn't delete. I was like, bro, why is it still on there?
And then it goes on to say, like, my accountant called me. He's the one that saw, and he said, oh, and by the way, you accidentally posted that, but by the way, you're good to be spending that. You actually could be spending $2 million a day instead of $800,000. You're totally good. He's like,
my
thanks,
gosh.
fam. So like he's just like
that's a
making
lot
fun of
really good Halloween stuff from Home Goods.
he's just like literally thinking of like funny shit. Like he even just posted one today of like a concert, like in a concert arena, and he's like, yeah, behind me was my birthday. I try to keep it really intimate, like just close friends. Don't make fun of me for how like small this looks right now. Like I wanted to have just my friends around. And it's like it's like what a simple idea, but like
simple.
going completely viral. And then I was also thinking about one of the thoughts I had, which also blew my mind, was the Montana Boys. When I saw them for the first time, because one of our friends like became friends with him. Have you
They
seen
do
them?
the exact same dance over and over again.
Have you not seen
And
them?
it's just guys
I'm gonna
switching
show you.
spots.
Wait, I
They're
don't
like
know if I have.
they're like 3 good-looking guys, but all they have to do is the same song,
Wait, are
same
these
video.
The Southern
Yeah.
boys?
Yes. And they're like walking red carpets now. They're getting signed by CAA. Like it was just
Oh,
very
wow.
simple. Like
They all just
tilt
took
of the
turns,
cowboy
like,
hat. They
person
had
at a
one
time.
like the one person at a time. But they're like good-looking guys, and they're in the country niche, and it just like blew up.
I mean,
but it's like
everyone loves a good-looking country boy, I guess.
But it's like you sometimes see things that are like you have to make it so complicating, and I think it's good for people listening that want to do social media. It's like we make it so complicated. It needs to be original. It needs to be innovative. All this stuff, and then you see people like that just blow up from like a super simple idea.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, you can literally post yourself making pancakes every morning, and as long as you're consistent with making your pancakes, people will probably enjoy it after a while because
Yeah.
they don't really have
God
a choice.
damn it, she's making pancakes
That's what
again.
I was gonna
love
say
it.
is like if you have a video that pops off, like don't be like, oh my God, I need to come up with another idea to beat that one. It's just like do that.
Do it again.
Just
Just
keep
do it again.
recycling it until maybe it burns out. But it might
That's
just keep going up from there. You know?
Use
That's
that same
so
sound no
true.
matter how annoying you feel to yourself.
Just bother all your
Just-
friends.
yeah.
Yeah, it's like
Not all of your followers might have seen that first one, you know. So then it
True.
just goes viral.
and then also think about it. How annoyed do you think like singers are that have to sing the same song at every concert? We've all heard the song 50,000 times, but when we hear it again, we'll listen and we'll sing.
Yeah.
Like some people like familiarity, even if the artist is like, God damn it, they want me to sing that song.
That song,
Kill
my
me.
body's a
If I had to sing
wonderland.
it
John
again.
Mayer every time he's like, I have new music.
You're like, I'm 50 now. I don't know if my body's a wonderland anymore.
Yeah, it's so true. Another thought I was thinking too is like, how much do you think belief is important to you becoming a content creator online? Because I've seen
Like belief.
in your just belief that you can have it. Because I've
Oh.
seen some talent that are really creative, really good, and then they can't blow up. And then some people, like we said, that I was like,
So
I feel like
easy.
you decided yesterday you want to be an influencer.
Yeah.
You know?
No, for sure. And that does happen. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. It's trial and error.
Yeah. One of the things I see the most too is like people just, there's certain creators that are pumping out reels and they're actually now growing on Instagram. And Instagram was like a hard place to grow for so long.
Right.
There's certain talent that are like actually really growing on Instagram because they're just consistent on reels and they really figured out their niche and they're just going.
Oh, yes. Reels are another. Yeah, that's a really, really good point because
Yeah.
it used to be pretty easy to grow on Instagram like back in the day. And all of a sudden, like, it's super hard to grow on Instagram. And I feel like a lot of people that I know who are actually growing are posting reels very consistently.
Yeah, that's a huge one.
I always see the reels where it's like doing this thing until Elon Musk responds back to me like for 100 days, and then it's like day 100 doing this whatever thing until so and so responds back
Oh,
to
I've
me.
never seen that.
And they just grow their account just doing like one specific weird thing, and it reminds me of how Mr. Beast started because he was on YouTube and he said like Logan Paul's name like 1,000 times, and then it like finally got Logan Paul's like attention.
Wow.
Really? I didn't
Yeah,
even know
and
that.
that's how he like got big or something.
Whoa.
Or even more. It was probably, I think it was even more than 1,000 times. But like that was like, it was like he was just doing a million dumb videos until one popped off, and then his YouTube channel like blew up.
Now he's bigger than Logan pretty much
Yeah.
as far as like how much his YouTube generates.
But people
Yeah.
are niching down to literally like I'm gonna do the same thing a million times until someone notices me. You know.
Yeah.
Okay, let's play this kind of game of would
Kind
you
of
rather.
game. All right.
Would you rather hang out with your normal friends or hang out with your influencer friends?
I feel like all my influencer friends are my normal friends.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't really put them in boxes. I don't know. I guess
So then it's hang out with influencer friends.
my influencer friends
And you
because
can
they
say
are
why.
my.
Because they probably have more that you relate with them with.
Yeah.
what I would say
And
for
I
you.
feel like since I've been in LA, like I said, for 14 years, everyone that I know is pretty much either in the social media game or like the traditional entertainment industry. So I feel like, yeah, my influencer entertainment
Even your
friends.
boyfriend is.
Yeah, my boyfriend, my like best friends are like
Your sister.
my sister, like everyone that I'm surrounded with at all times. Because I feel like, you know, we all get each other and do the same
Yeah.
stuff and can motivate each other in good ways.
Yeah, I was thinking that too. Would you rather create content or have no phone laying in your bed?
Crickets. No phone laying in my bed.
You're like, that sounds nice.
If we're being honest.
take a nap.
So I can like take a nap. I love creating content and all, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah, there's something about when you don't have to do anything.
Okay, would you rather meet your fans or spend time with yourself?
meet my fans.
Yeah, I feel like that's rewarding.
Yes. And it's been a long time since, I mean, I'll meet fans like out and about, but it's been a long time since I've done like a meetup or anything like that. And hello. But I remember like, oh my God, just having like the best time. Like it's such a good, rewarding feeling. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
And I spend time with myself all the time.
Yeah, that's a good one. Okay, would you rather be a famous influencer or a famous model?
famous.
Because you've kind of been both. That's why I asked you this question. You started out as a model, right?
Yeah, so I originally came here for acting, but I did acting and modeling, and I was on the show Making a Model with Yolanda Hadid on Lifetime.
Oh, wow.
And I feel like it would be really awesome to be like a huge model like Gigi Hadid or anything like that, but I don't know. I feel like the creative world, I would rather be the one creating than just be the canvas.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say creating.
Yeah, that's true. Would you rather be known for being hot or known for being hilarious?
Hilarious.
Right?
I said that one for you because you're pretty funny.
Thank you. I tried.
She's my favorite.
Her and Tosh, when cameras are not on, her and Tosh are like riffing for hours.
No, we're like crying laughing. It's always so fun. All of these girls, like, oh, we always have so much fun. I love it.
Okay, now not would you rather, but another thing. What are your favorite, what are your 3 favorite Netflix shows?
Okay. Right now I'm watching Suits. And I am,
people are watching that.
yeah, I'm obsessed. Lucas got me into it. I'm already on season 6. Oops.
That's where I spend most of my life.
Yeah. So, anyways,
I'm deep in there too.
thank God. Thanks for being there for me.
Probably further.
I really love Bridgerton.
So
like
good,
the
so
first
good.
season and like this last season, I really, really liked. And I don't know if it's on Netflix anymore, but I really got into Lost.
Oh, that's so funny. Jackie's watching that right now.
Really?
She's obsessed. Her
Oh
and
my
her
gosh.
boyfriend.
I'm going to have to call her because like I love having a show where someone else is watching and we can like talk about it and be like, oh my God, I cannot believe he did that. Yeah, so Lost, Suits, and Bridgerton.
It's funny.
Such a random combination.
I know, you're all over the place.
Depends on my
I was
mood.
going to say what's interesting too is like that I realized the other day is like Netflix can bring back like an old show that you probably would have never watched if you didn't see it in front of you. Like for an example, Sex and the City. I don't know if you've seen it, but I
Yes,
never
I
seen
actually,
it. And I
like,
only just started watching it.
I
because
started
Netflix
watching
put it
that
on.
and
It's still relevant.
it's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like
still
warm and
works.
fuzzy feeling. I don't know how to explain
Yeah.
it.
Especially for girls.
I'm surprised they haven't updated that show, like done a newer version with like today's
Yeah.
date. Because a lot of the stuff is so old from
Yeah.
like
I
back then.
love the movies
Yeah.
too.
That's why they like redid Fresh Prince. You know, they like
Yeah.
made like a newer this generation's like version. I heard they released a version of Lost, but actually in chronological order, and you can like watch the show Lost like without it like bouncing back between like all the timelines of like the show.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I heard
Yeah,
someone
that's
like
what
made
someone
like
just
a
told
recut.
Jackie too. And
Yeah.
she's like, really? But I don't get it because I've never seen it. I'm like, it sounds confusing if you're watching it not in chronological order.
It jumps around a lot.
Yeah, the show jumps around like in the timeline of the show like constantly, so that you can finally like it's revealed like what is going on to the people that are on the island in the show, and then so yeah, there's a version supposedly that's been cut.
Oh, but I feel like that's not as exciting.
Well, it's like watching like a normal. Yeah, I guess it's like a different suspense. you know?
Yeah, no, for sure.
It's like watching your favorite thing, but
You
just like a
like being
different
lost,
way. Yeah,
though.
exactly.
Yeah,
I
You're
love
still
being
lost.
lost.
you're funny.
The whole time I'm just lost the whole show.
I'm lost. They're lost. We're all
am
lost. Who am I?
Who has been your top celebrity crush? I know you have a lovely boyfriend, but who has been your top celebrity crush?
It's okay. He knows.
He knows about him and I.
Right now, I feel like I have book boyfriends, but
Imagination.
in my imagination, it's changed, but I feel like it was Chase Stokes for like.
Oh
my God,
he's a
hilarious.
good one. Who was your favorite celebrity crush as a kid? I just thought of that. Did you have an Aaron Carter phase, or were you younger than me? I was obsessed with Aaron Carter.
I was like a believer till death do we part, baby. Like I was showing up to school with like Justin Bieber t-shirts, Justin Bieber notebooks, Justin Bieber folders, Justin Bieber pencils, Justin Bieber like I was going to. They had a whole thing. It's icing and Claire's and Justice. That was like all. Who remembers Justice? Limited to. all the good stuff.
That was
So good.
the trendy clips.
I was obsessed with Justin Bieber. I was also obsessed with a band that nobody, I bet, knows. It was called Mindless Behavior, and they were like a boy group, and I was obsessed with them. I literally, like, my birthday cake, like 3 years in a row, was a Mindless Behavior birthday cake. Fun
The
fact.
boy groups were the hottest.
And
back
now
then.
I'm literally, my social media manager manages one of the guys from the boy group. And I see him and I'm like, do you remember me when I like was crying when I like met you and like you brought me on your tour bus and I had my cake and I made y'all eat it with me?
You
I
took
did
a
that.
tissue and snotted for like allowed me to snot in your tissue.
Yeah. Times.
What? Okay.
I miss being a fangirl.
What do you feel like is your $1 billion quality that got you to where you are today?
My charm and good looks. No,
It sounded like you spoke another language.
I felt like I kind of sounded like Stitch. I don't know. I think just being kind and like, you know, just the way I treat people. I feel like that, like, and just, you know, being humble and sticking with my morals and not letting the LA effect like really change that aspect of me. I feel like
That's true.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because you're also like very approachable too. Like you make
Thank
people feel
you.
very comfortable right
I
away.
feel like I get a lot of like people who think that I would be mean if you like were looking at me. I mean, I have a really bad chronic bitch face every now and again, like just when I'm like chilling. But I promise I am approachable and I am nice.
That's why I was
And
like, if
I
they
will
hear
have
you
a
talk.
conversation and I'm not fake. I'm nice and I will be sincere about it.
And I will be sincere.
I will be sincere.
Vote for me.
Vote for me.
Carrington Durham.
Carrington Durham.
Okay, yeah. Tell everyone where they can find you on social media.
You can find me on Instagram at Carrington Durham, on TikTok, Carrington143, on Twitter if you want. I won't really be on there, but
You can still follow me. I'll never post.
Carrington125. And then my Snapchat is Carrington's Babe. My other one got taken, so I had to. My name's too long, so it wouldn't
Oh,
let me put
wow.
my full name.
Rude.
Sad story.
That is rude.
It was rude. It's okay. Still love your Snapchat.
And I didn't really talk that much this episode, but you can find me at Tosh 9 p.m.
Woo!
Love
say
you. Thank you for coming on.
I love you guys.
you.
Very cute.
Thank you so much, my $1 billion baby, for listening. As you know, I come back every Tuesday. Let me know what parts of the episode resonated with you the most, and we'll be reading all your comments.